Okay, thoughts on Blank Banshee's new album, Gaia, that was just released last night on the November the 30th at midnight, but I had to wait at 3 in the morning, New York City, Pennsylvania time. The album was actually uploaded before midnight on a DistroKid's Spotify YouTube catch, and I listened it from there. Uh, Blank Banshee had almost zero commercial publicity for this. All he did was back in March write a tweet said the crow knows. A month later, had a little video with a dove in it, and only 3 days later had Techno Fossil along with a dove flying, and he called the album Gaia. The album is released on cassette and vinyl, which I bought from his store, Hologram Bay. And I'm checking it right now, and the vinyl is sold out, but there is still the cassette, and everything else is 50% off. No more blank editions of the CD or the Metamorphosis cassette, and no more posters either. But nobody still wants the Shinjuku Mad, even if they are 50% off. So I've listened to the album twice, once at midnight and this morning again after having my coffee, and I thought I'd get my thoughts down. Um, so, what do I think about the new album? For starters, I think this album is a lot of the extension what happened on Metamorphosis. He had a single or EP, a mega song last year that was 18 minutes long called Metamorphosis, which kind of reminds me of like those old prog bands like Yes or some metal band making an extremely long rock opera. And although the songs were also splitted into minute to less than minute segments, he still released the album on cassette, but the song Fluid begins on side B, and you can't really listen to the album its full 18 minutes. But yeah, I don't have Metamorphosis on cassette. I wish there was just a vinyl on one side where the whole entire song would play for 18 minutes, if possible. Maybe even a CD release, or just a cassette that plays the whole song through. I just really hate the abrupt switching over to Fluid, because I think Metamorphosis is a single song. But this album, Gaia, was produced in this year of coronavirus of 2020. Um, he didn't use much samples on this album like he likes to do and attract the soy boy Nintendo core audience with his collection of eclectic samples that creates a sound mirage. So I think this is because that if you upload your music on the internet, always someone who will claim copyright claim of a Dragon Warrior sample or something really goofy and nonsensical will be striked. But there are some samples on this album. In fact, Gaia reuses sound motifs from previous albums like on Mega or even Zero One. Um, the album is more in tone to Metamorphosis, that it has this kind of ambient, softer, almost it feels like Gaia is an entire song. I noticed Blank Banshee has always made his albums at least 30 to 32 minutes long. And so he does this yet again on Gaia, and he kind of has a formula for the first track. He has this kind of upbeat intro song, like you're starting up a computer. And it's always the second track, he has some kind of Shinjuku Mad, vocal MC scattered stuff on Mind Trap, which I saw live back in Philadelphia 3 years ago. No one knew what the song was called. Some people called it Hyperfeel. But the vocals over it makes it a nice addition, though. Some people just want to hear the instrumental. Blue Marble and T Trellix, T Trellix. Those are great songs. They go back to Frozen Flame, Gunshot on Mega. It reminds me of that same formalic. Third track should be kind of upbeat. Feels like a silly $1 million extreme Frank Hassel, Sam Hyde skit being in front of you again with this kind of strange, ironic nostalgia of Korg wave stations and Roland D50s. Techno Fossil, the song that was played with the dove. Now, if you look at the dove is robotic. It has a red eye and it has a little battery compartment under its belly. Whether this is a message of world peace or that world peace is artificially constructed, or the dove represents the same dove in Blade Runner, whatever the dove's a robot or not. So there is that kind of motif. And the addition of a light green and a light blue background is kind of nice. I was thinking this album sounds more sad in tone. I was thinking more of a depressing color, but the bird thing kind of uplifts it up, and it's this kind of, again, feels like you're listening to bad rejects of an 80s film of some sort, of glitched out, broken lines. But I guess that's really popular in this kind of post vaporwave era. It makes you think whether vaporwave is popular or that Blank Banshee is trying to move away from the vaporwave genre entirely. And he doesn't, he can claim himself in the canon of popular electronic music. There are some less vocal tracks on this album. I mean, Mind Trap and Fund My Death being, evident vocals, but I always thought Blank Banshee's naming of the albums are really funny. Naming of the songs. He has one song called Neo Geo. Obviously, he played Neo Geo growing up, or love SNK games like I do, And his fascination with color. He has blue marble, green ray. The interesting in chemicals and things like that, and textures, I think is funny. Even the name Uncanny Valley reminds me of playing Land Before Time PC game or something really silly and whatnot. Escape is really interesting. It's like a really bad John Carpenter film in a very sudden, broken, bouncy synth line of some sorts. I actually don't know what Blank Banshee, his digital audio workstation, is, but I always assume it was like an Akai MPC Live, or even an MPC X, or even one of the Akai brand, because you could take clips and make giant songs, and hence why there's all these drum hits. I always think that Blank Banshee is using some Akai MPC gear, or at least maybe just scattering Ableton to some extent. I don't know, but it has incredibly great clarity to it. Escape is the last track, where even Batteries, to some extent, is just a pad chord progression. It's a very simplistic album, and this album inspires me to make my own music. I like the simplicity and the minimalism of Gaia. And again, I feel like this is a long 30-minute song. And I have to listen to it more. I've only listened to it twice, and I like it already. It's not as poppy as Mega. It's not as beautiful as 01. And it's not as trip-hoppy and goofy as Zero. But I think Gaia definitely is Blank Banshee discovering and extending himself from what he originally is as a quote-unquote vaporwave musician, and he's his own category. I don't think he should be classified as vaporwave or vapor trap anymore. He's making quality electronic music, but at the same time, it inspires me, and I think everyone else, to create music which is more, you can definitely do this music. I don't think this music is complicated or sophisticated like you're listening like Boards of Canada's Tomorrow's Harvest. This is definitely, anyone can construct this album. And this leads me into an important topic about Blank Banshee, is his marketing. Blank Banshee always has a new release, always November the 30th or December the 1st, which he calls Hologram Day. And on his store at 3 in the morning or midnight, you can get his LPs at limited stock of 50 or 100, buy them really quick in his really corrupt Canadian shopping cart with a high shipping rate. Mine was only $20, but he being based in Vancouver, most people on the East Coast it's midnight, but in Canada it's 3 in the morning here. And whether you just want a blank Banshee poster or a collection of CDs or the LPs or cassettes, always, always, always they sell out within 10 minutes. And that's why I enjoy Hologram Day, to wake up 3 in the morning like I do, and I drank coffee this morning. And always, so I was able to snag a copy, my Snowy Boy consumer, meme. I was able to snag an LP and a cassette for $60 free shipping, or no, $30 shipping, which is, it's okay. It's like $30 for the LP, $30 the cassette. Then you have common consumer soy boys resell them on eBay and Discogs for like $200. But I have all the blank Banshee cassettes. I have 01 on LP, and now I have this one on LP. I do kind of wish I had Mega on LP, but it's always a 200 or 150. I really don't care about the first album. I mean, I do like the first album. It reminds me of like being a little kid like Mr. Scruff, but my favorite album is 01. Mega I do want, but again, it's just, I was too bored. I liked it more on cassette. And this is an interesting addition. Again, I wish Metamorphosis was on CD or something. I'm almost a completionist for Blank Banshee, and I do have the posters framed. But it's an interesting album. I hope there's a music video or sort to go with some of this music. I hope Baby Blank Banshee starts to tour in 2021 after this weird world we're living in, if possible. Maybe he can make some new music, maybe have a CD release. It's interesting, but is it cool? Is it great? Is it fantastic? Not really. It's, again, I think Blank Banshee has always been overrated. But I do think he's better than 10 Tricks Point Never. I think 10 Tricks Point Never is incredibly overrated. I think Blank Banshee is kind of a interesting lost gem that people don't think about a lot of the time. There's a lot of mystery about him. I didn't realize at the bottom of the page, if I wrote Xenos Portal, I have to write in a password to get past the developer's portal, but I don't know if the password is real or it's just a fake illusion to assume the listener can get into the secret access page. Again, Patrick Driscoll, Blank Banshee, is queuing in on the whole Boards of Canada Esoteric Society secret message thing, which is interesting. But I mean, I saw him in person live. I know what he looks like, and eventually, when you get popular, you have to reveal yourself, and you can't be this hermit writer that everybody. And so, he's great at marketing. I have to say, and he knows what. I love going to his website and clicking all his like videos and dreams and live stuff, and all the stuff he has to offer under the Blank Banshee project, which kind of started as a one-shot project, but now is his full canon of music. I don't even know what the guy's like in person. I just assume he's some Canadian who's been doing it since 2008 or 2009 on a MySpace music with the whole Japanese influence attire and whatnot. I'm going on a bit now. I guess I'll have to listen to this album more often. But the only reason why I do this is because, to be honest, I hate YouTube. I really do. And I'm trying to get away from my smartphone. I'm trying to stop looking at my smartphone. I'm trying to stop posting on YouTube forever. But I do it anyway because I know the soy boys and consumers are just going to find this like YouTube link and want to hear a review of what pilleater has to say about the issue or whatever. So yeah, this is going to be copied on my BitChute. But anyway, it's an interesting album. Listen to it on YouTube. Don't listen to the haters. It's a good album. I wouldn't say it's the best album. Maybe I just have to listen to it more. Yeah.